Hi everyone, welcome to finally another episode of SynCast. This is episode number 5. Look for the title at the end. I decided to say it because Jay wasn't. I'm JoeKat.
I'm Gaedien.
I'm
Not the one
Ansil.
waving.
I'm Ansil.
Your audio quality is kind of weird right now, Jay.
God dang it. Is this any better?
No, that's worse. That's worse.
You're loud and tinny.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Am I really going to have to switch to my... Probably. Hold
Or
on.
turn the gain down because it sounds loud and just bad quality. So you might just have the gain on your microphone up a bit too high.
Oh, I bet. Look.
See, when you talk quietly like that, it sounds just fine.
Who wants to do that?
No one.
Got it set to 100.
Yeah, don't set it to 100. So.
Okay, how about now? Any better?
A
Drop
little
it to
bit.
60.
Yeah, now move it just a little closer to your mouth.
Yeah.
And talk.
Closer to your mouth.
It won't.
Closer.
Okay. I will just look curious here.
Yeah, eat it. Put it deep down inside. All right, so the new X Pack, huh?
Yeah, that happened. That came out.
Yeah, a long time ago. Oh my god.
How long has it even been? It's almost a month now.
Yeah.
Oh. Maybe I need to play with my gain a little bit.
Yeah. But, so, I don't know. I haven't had a whole lot of time to play around with it, just because there's other stuff I've been doing. One of the first things I noticed, though, that I didn't like was the reduction in my action bar of different things I had access to and different things I had. You know, I got used to it pretty quick, but it was one of the first things I noticed that I didn't like. What do you guys think?
I didn't notice that much of a change in mine.
I guess I didn't notice. What were you missing?
Just a couple of the things that I had been using and probably shouldn't have been as my monk and as my mage. Just some of the side peripheral powers that didn't do a whole lot, but I just liked because of the flare.
I mean, we didn't lose anything as of the X-Pack rolling out that wasn't already gone a month prior when they put out 6.0, so I didn't really notice anything.
Oh, so you're not really saying the physical action bar. You're talking about some skills are removed, so your action bar is maybe not as full as it was before.
Right, and I was referring to the patch, the pre X Pack release, not the actual X Pack. So
Yeah, and by the time the expansion rolled out, I had already gotten used to that, and I don't even remember what I've lost. Other than my hunter skill bar is kind of... Why'd they get rid of my aspect of the hawk? I don't get that, but...
I don't know why they got rid of that. I got used to that stuff.
yeah,
They would have kept it and maybe just changed it up a bit, but they completely got rid of it.
Yeah, I don't know. That one... Yeah, I guess I don't have a whole lot to contribute to that one because I was just so used to it by the time the expansion actually rolled out. I don't know, X-Pack itself, how much have you done, Jay? Because I know you've been over on the other server a bunch, playing with your wife, since you cruelly sucked her into the game.
Yeah. Wasn't my... no, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I got to level 100. To get to level 100 on my hunter, I ended up getting sick and sinus infection in the process of it from not sleeping for a couple days. I can't say that the actual release or go live was what I expected, but not really. It was a little bit worse. I expected maybe a couple hours downtime, but it seemed like I waited until...
See, I see a lot of people, myself included. I was guilty of the whole rose-tinted glasses thing. This one really hasn't been any worse. Well, the first couple days of servers crashing, it's not any worse than it was. Wrath was worse. But
I don't recall having that. I remember...
Wrath was horrible.
Maybe I didn't do the midnight thing for Wrath. I could be too.
I almost didn't, but then I know Urgel, if you remember good old Urgel, he was over at my apartment. This is when I was living with Razak, and everybody was like, we need to get the X back, and I didn't have a ride, and so Urgel drove me, because he was already at my apartment. I got home from work, and he's like, I'm taking you to Walmart. And then we went to one Walmart, and they were already sold out, like 5-10 minutes after midnight. So we had to zoom all the way across town to the other one in the part of town nobody goes to, because there's no reason to go to that part of town. And they had it.
Came back a
Back
lot.
when you had to buy your expansions physically.
Had to. Shit, I wish I still could. Or I still had a reason to. I mean, yes, technically I can, but now they incentivize doing it digitally so much that it's like, eh.
Plus, it's tiresome. I don't know. After reaching 30 and having a kid, I thought of standing in line at Walmart for several hours. I don't know.
See, that's what was funny when I bought the Wrath one is, since I had to go to that part of town that nobody goes to, there was no line. I think they maybe had 30 customers in the store.
Oh, wow.
But, I mean, it's like, we live in Fargo. Try and do this in a direction that's reasonable, but West Fargo, which is and there's Fargo proper, and there's Moorhead, and those two are like the major city part of the city, if you can call it a major city, whatever. And then there's Dilworth, which is like a small town that's just kind of starting to be enveloped by Moorhead. But there's still nothing out there. But they have a Walmart, so that's the one I went to.
So you have a Moorhead and a Dilworth.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure we could list off some humorous town names from Illinois.
Illinois?
Iowa. Other side of this country, whatever. You live in an I state.
Idiots out walking around.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. My issues, the first thing I noticed that made me go buzzkill, I guess, off my enthusiasm was the butchering of professions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, from 600 on, the fuck is the point of having a profession anymore other than, oh, look, you can get a free, well, not free, wait 10 days so you can craft enough of the required parts and you can have a piece of raid quality gear. Ooh. It's like, where's the linear progression of a profession anymore?
Right.
And what's the point of having a gathering profession when you have a mine in your garrison that you don't need to have mining to mine from, and an herb garden that you don't need herbalism to pick from?
Exactly. Like, my main tune is a mining and herbalism person. I don't know what I'm going to do when I finally get her up to 100, or up to 90. I haven't worried about that yet.
I didn't even realize that it was is what it was until like close to level 100. I had no clue. I'm just like, oh, I'm mining because I have the mining skill.
No. That's, the stuff that's in your garrison, you don't need anything. You can just mine it or pick it. Crap, I've already built, well, I say already, I'm sure there's people who have already done way more than I have, but I have 2 epics on my Paladin that, my Paladin was the first to 100, just because it was the one I'd been playing more prior to the X-Pack launching. But I haven't really done anything significant with the Paladin. I haven't. He was prot spec. I've now off spec'd him into ret just so I can not have to worry about tanking anything. I think I've done 1 instance with him, and I just ran around leveling, and then I was like, screw it, I'm going back to my rogue. Rogues feel better anyway. I've got 2 epics there, but it doesn't feel like it's worth it. And the rogue, engineering, I took engineering with the Rogue way back in Burning Crusade days, because in Burning Crusade, engineering was the shit. You could build the mounts that nobody else could have. That was cool. You had all these fun toys like the rocket boots and the parachute attachment. And they started kind of gimping engineering out when Wrath came out. And then I was gone for a lot of Cataclysm and Pandaland, so I don't really know how they were or how it was during those. But now I look at it and I can build the bombs. The missiles are pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. The mech assault missiles. I mean, in PvP, those in the battlegrounds I've been in, they average about 33,000 against a player.
Wow.
But the cooldown also doesn't start on them until you're out of combat, just kind of like a potion would be. So I can fire one, and then, I mean, if I can vanish and run away, then the timer will restart. But, so it's other than that, the professions just seem useless, other than here's a purple, go raid, which then, this week, Heimall rolled out. Granted, I only did the LFR version, but that was one hell of a face roll.
That easy? Wow.
Yeah, it's on a pug. It took us 30 minutes, and only one person died, and that's because he didn't understand that the clearly visible pillar of fire you're standing in, you shouldn't be standing in. But that was like the one mechanic in the entire raid that was dangerous. I don't think I saw a tank drop below 3/4 health. And I didn't really see anybody else's health bars moving at all.
That's too bad. I thought they would make it just a skosh bit challenging. I haven't had a chance to really mess with the raids. I know heroics were tough.
Yeah, I'll give them that. That is a redeeming quality. I started doing the quest chain. I'm a little behind the curve for the legendary ring, which I have an entirely different rant about that. But since it requires doing heroics, I did slag mines, which is, the first instance you go in. That had a mechanic that's hell for me. The boss that rolls the fireballs out, and in normal mode they just roll.
Yeah, and then
Heroic,
they came back. I'm like, what the hell?
I get a little too focused on, I'm fucking stabbing this guy in the back. I don't pay attention to what's going on clear across the room to see if some ball's rolling back at me. Especially since the tank had a face, so I could see when they were coming out, no problem, because, that's the way the enemy or the boss was facing, and since I was standing behind him, stabbing him in the back, I could see that. But yeah, as soon as I died. I straight up died. I'm mildly embarrassed to admit it, because that should be an easy mechanic, but that's not a thing I'm good at all.
Well, it's just something you didn't expect. And, since most people don't talk when you go into a random or whatever, except we were actually in a guild group when we went in. And pretty sure, it was a guild group, and nobody had mentioned it. I think everybody just thought everybody knew the fight, and we just went through. I'm like, whoa, hey, what in the world? I picked up on it after the first time, but it was just like, wow, that thing just rolled me.
I don't even have that excuse. I knew it was going to happen because the tank and the pug that I was with mentioned it. But I'm just... don't expect me... On my rogue, if I'm on my hunter, it's not a big deal. I'm so zoomed out just so I can pay attention to everything anyway. But my rogue, I can only stab one dude at a time, so that's what I'm focused on. And,
and if your camera's not like all the way out or something.
Yeah, well, exactly. And maybe I should have, but it's just that's not the way I play my rogue. It's like I'm zoomed in. But yeah, I straight up died, and they tried to kick me. Somebody tried to kick me, but the healer and one of the other DPSs refused, and I'm guessing their meters were broken. They're just like, we can't kick him. He's topping out the charts. I'm just like, that can't be true. I mean, I'll take the compliment, and I'm glad you didn't kick me because we haven't gotten to the quest item I need yet, but I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I'd be like, because I'm never at the top of any chart, so if somebody were to say that to me, I'd be like, I don't think you're looking at this page.
Yeah, I wasn't going to complain, but I'm not certain that they weren't just experiencing a very coincidental glitch that put me at the top of their damage meters.
Never know, though. You never know based on how they change things up.
Well, that's true, and maybe if I had damage meters up, I could have checked and said, "Holy crap!" But I have always resented damage meters because it just seems like, hey, look at my EP. Woo!
Yeah, and usually it's the people who are posting it are the ones that are like top 3.
Yeah, and they're just like, look how badass I am. Everybody revere me. But
yeah. They're always talking about Skada, and I was going through, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, you're doing awesome damage for marksman." And they're telling me the numbers, and they're using Skada too, and they've been beside me the entire time, and my Scada is completely different than their Scada, like way different. So I don't know. I don't know how much trust I put into the add-ons for the DPS stuff, but
Yeah. Other than that, what has it been? Your thoughts been on how garrisons function?
I don't know. It didn't keep my interest as much as I thought it would. Like, I played around in it a bit, and then I was like, so that was a thing.
See,
and it's just like, it's so much of a time and gold sink, and it's just, well,
I don't know about time sink.
No.
You don't have to spend any time there. That's
you don't
that's
really
why
have to.
my mindset went from kind of similar, not quite the same, but similar to yours, Joe. In that I was just like, I was expecting more. They hyped this up so much.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm just like, well, if it was more, that would mean I'd be spending how much game time sitting in one location not doing anything. It's probably good that there's not that much here. And, I started to like it, but now that I've gotten to a point that, I have the level 3 garrison on 2 different tunes, starting to do the whole gear up your level 100 followers so that they can do... It went from being, to, this is kind of cool, to now it's just like, why the fuck do I even have this thing? I mean, it is literally a Facebook game that I feel obligated to play every half hour just to make sure that I'm maximizing my resource intake. Because, I mean, sorry, gamer mindset. It's just like, if I can be getting resources, I better be getting said resources. But it's like, there's nothing to it. And then with the fact that, like, there are cool buildings you can do. Like, I got the, on Jorgenkammer, my rogue, I got the Gladiator Sanctum. So I could try to get the title that was clearly designed specifically with me in mind. The Scourge of the Kelderai for killing all the goddamn Night Elves. But even that's been bugged out. I went through the chain to unlock the quest, because it's a quest. Basically you get a quest that you have to kill 500 Night Elves to get the title. So I go through the chain to get that quest. It only counts in Draenor, which means my only real chance at racking up these kills is in Ashran, which is usually a clusterfuck. I got it up to the point, like, I would just sit there stealthed, wherever the massive battle is engaged, because that's all Ashran really is. It's a constant tug of war, but there's always that central point. That's where everybody's at. And I'd just sit there stealthed, tabbing through all of the alliance until I came across the Night Elf. I'd wait till somebody else was starting to fight him, and then I'd just jump in and finish him off. Because it's the only way I could do it. Because anytime I tried to engage in the real battle there, with all the AoEs that are constantly going off, I jump out of stealth, and I have 30 seconds before I'm dead. And that's if nobody's specifically targeting me.
Isn't there a skill to drop AoE damage, or no, for rogues?
Faint, but it only lasts a few seconds, so if I want to keep on clicking that, but no, I'm not going to do that, because that takes me completely out of my damage dealing rotation. But, so it's like, I was hoping upon hope that maybe it was just poor wording, and I hopped into, while the anniversary's going on, I hopped into the South Shore versus Terran Mill battleground. But so I can now confirm that no battleground kills count. Because I killed easily 30 Night Elves in there.
Is that a battleground?
Yeah.
Really?
It's for the duration of the anniversary event. So it's just a free-for-all... Well, not free-for-all, because it's, Horde versus Alliance. But it's just be the first team to kill 300 of the... 300 of the opposing team, or whoever has the most kills after, I think it was a 30-minute timer.
Gotcha.
It was fun. It brought back nightmares because it takes place in the pre-Cataclysm Hillsbrad. So
I remember running out there.
So we spawn into this location, and suddenly all the flashbacks of every time I've been camped by those goddamn Night Elves there. But we ended up, apparently, I was on a good team, because my first and one and only time in there, we won. And I had guildies bitching at me about how the hell did you win? Because every time we're in there, the horde just gets slaughtered. Which led up to a funny story. This is somewhat off topic, but I find it hilarious.
Off topic, come on.
Well, it's what we do. So we're in there, right? Now, the basic premise here, it is just Terran Mill versus South Shore. So we set up, well, I say we, there's like 4 of us who are actually talking about what are we going to do strat-wise, to just sit at that tower. That's kind of at the T in the road. There's that broken guard tower.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to sit there and fight there. That way everybody's within range of heals and everybody's covered. And the Alliance kept on coming up. We'd slaughter them. And then they'd start trying to pull us back towards South Shore, where there's level 100, I think they're elite guards. And it's like, don't do that, people. First of all, you're stretching our numbers thin, making it next to impossible for the healers to cover everybody. And they have backup there. Just sit here. And, but they'd keep on, the Alliance would fall back, and there'd always be that squad of hordes that would follow. And I was sitting there watching the Battleground chat, and people just keep on, pull back, fall back, fall back, and the contingent would just keep on moving forward. So I just yelled, I think I started with, fall back, you fucks, and all of a sudden they all come back. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to chalk that up as a coincidence. But then they did it again, and everybody, pull back, fall back, fall back, and nothing. So I just yelled, pull out, we're not wearing a condom, and they all came back. So I'm still going to chalk.
I am not getting any noise. What? Yeah, an aviary is only recording my microphone. Let's do an intermission.
Fine, but
No.
did you guys hear each other?
No.
No.
Well, other than
oh,
through
okay.
the wall.
Through the wall,
Gotcha.
but...
Yeah, I might tell you to flip me off if you hear me talking, and suddenly...
Man, I wish I would have heard you talking. Well, I would have been much, much better at lip reading. I'll do it anyway.
There you go.
All right. So, anyway, you were talking about... I think we left out at pull out, we're not wearing a condom.
Well, I said after
not us, but like the scenario you were in.
Well, all I really said after that was I'm still going to chalk it up as having just been a coincidence, but it made me feel like I had some level of power, and I like that feeling.
I'll have to do a macro for those emotes if I ever get into the battleground again.
Yeah, well, I think really if it had anything to do with me at all, I think it was because I yelled it instead of putting it into Battleground chat, because I think everybody just ignores Battleground chat, but if they see red show up in the text bar, they look.
I think what they really need to do is add voice chat to Battlegrounds.
No.
No.
I would not use that.
No.
Oh, come on.
It would be just like using Xbox Live to play whatever COD or
It'd be
Halo.
bad.
It would be a bunch of 13-year-olds telling you how they fucked your mom last night. Yeah, I'm not interested in that conversation.
Again, Timmy, come on. I know she's made that position.
Did it go silent again?
No.
Oh, you're still good.
Okay. Maybe it's just my headset this time. I was getting nervous. Somebody say something.
Flip me off if you hear yourself talking.
Well, I hear myself talking all the time. Even when I'm not. I might be schizophrenic.
At least that's what they said.
Before I killed them?
All of them.
And then everybody died.
Anyway, so yeah, there was that.
Weeks to clean it up.
But, what spawned this whole story is that quest to get the Night Elf murder. Alright? 2 times now, that quest has removed itself from my quest log. resetting my count down to 0, costing me about 40 kills so far.
Really?
I am not a happy camper about that.
Have you confirmed? Has it been confirmed on the boards, or
Maybe if you were more of a camper, you would be a happy camper.
Flog yourself.
maybe it's trying to tell you that killing isn't the answer?
Killing is always the answer when the question is night elves.
Yeah, this is true.
Just saying.
I don't mean to be racist or anything, but
Oh, it's not
Night
racist.
elves-
Night elves aren't a race. They're not even people.
They don't count.
They're good for very, very few things. Killing is one of those things.
Not talking about you.
The others being...
Having conversations about killing them.
Oh, okay. But yeah, there's that. So yeah, that part bothers me. I had an entire... There's other things involving the garrison. Oh, go ahead.
I was to say back to the garrison. I guess I don't know. For me, the garrison.
The garrison that is always stocked with food for all your people, despite being in the middle of a frozen crater.
We live in North.
I feel like I mean, as a because I do gathering professions. I don't ever really do professions. I haven't for a while. I haven't really noticed. I don't know. It's hard for me to choose what I wanted to choose because most of the buildings are like of no value to me except for the guild bank and the regular bank. But
yeah, that's
I mean,
one I've almost universally built. Has been the storehouse, just so I don't have to go all the way to Ashran to use a bank to get rid of all the shit that's in my inventory. Enchants, useless. Like, enchanting is just gotten dumb. There's no point in buying them because everybody's charging an arm and a leg, probably justifiably if you try buying it on the auction house. But I can't remember what all the slots, but I think now instead of being able to... You can still enchant your weapons. But then instead of like the rest of your gear, it's like you can enchant your neck, like your necklace and your rings, and nothing else. I might be forgetting one thing, but it's like, I'm sorry, it wasn't that big of a deal to have to enchant everything, the shoulders, the chest, whatever. That actually added some variance and customizability. But then, the more I thought about that, I started actually looking into numbers. Like, they said, with their stat changes and all that, it's making gear more accessible. That's true. That's absolutely true. Because the secondary stats that they have now are completely worthless. They don't do anything of note. That's why anybody can wear them. Versatility, you do a tiny bit more damage.
PvP, right? The secondary stats are PvP stats for the most part, right?
No. They're nothing stats. Like the multi-strike... Crit is still kind of useful because it's crit, but multi-strike, versatility, speed. I got a piece with fucking speed on my paladin, plus 76 speed, which increased my running speed from 100% to 101%. That's totally worth the itemization stat. But so you have versatility, which increases damage and I think decreases damage taken. Multi-strike, which you have a whatever percent chance of whenever you hit, you do a second hit for lesser damage. It's basically all of these stats are exactly the same damn thing. That's why anybody can wear them, because there is no variance. Everybody's doing the same shit.
What I'm trying to figure out, you don't really have to worry about stats so much now, but why is everything so expensive? Like, if everybody has accessibility to all the same stuff, why is it so expensive?
Well, because everybody doesn't have access to the same stuff, because you can only build 2 of the buildings to make stuff, since you need a building to use your crafting professions now.
Yep.
Really, you can't just, if you had the professions, you couldn't just do those things? You have to actually have the building.
You have to have the building to learn the patterns.
Yeah.
Well...
And if you want to get the materials required to make anything in that crafting profession, you can either have that building or you can wait a month until you can make one item instead of a week to make one item,
Right.
which is another thing that's ridiculous. Why do I have to wait a goddamn week of just giving my ore to somebody to turn into something else for me just so I can make something? It's like, what is the point? It doesn't feel like I'm accomplishing jack shit with these crafting professions anymore.
To make it seem rare by making it take forever, and
It doesn't seem rare at all, though. The only thing that has seemed
hope.
rare is the only thing that seemed rare to me now, having played through this, is I'm apparently the rarity because I must be the one person in this damn world that is not filthy rich. Because those items are going for, well, were. Now that the raid's out, they're not going for nearly as much. But prior to the raid, those items were going for up to 40,000 gold for one item.
Yeah, Blizzard's got
Savage
to be behind some of these like gold farming. It just doesn't make any sense how somebody has that much gold. Like
Right.
I've seen some people do some YouTube videos and they have like 500,000. Like really? How do you?
I know a big part of the money-making method was just going out and hunting down those highly sought-after transmog items and selling them on the auction house. If you know how to play it and where to go to get these things, you can get relatively wealthy doing that. But
yeah, but where does the person buying it get all their gold? I mean, like I've been playing for 10 years. And
one item for like the transmog stuff that it's highly sought after would probably go for a couple grand. But if you get a lot of items, a lot of people paying you a couple grand at a time, suddenly you're rich. That's economics 101. But apparently, just judging by the auction house prices of these 640 items that crafters can make, apparently everybody was doing that. Except for me. I must be the one guy who has trouble maintaining 1,000 gold.
I think I'm finally back to 6,000 gold.
I was up to 3,000, but then I upgraded some of my garrison buildings.
I've done like the mines to level 3, but I like stopped leveling them at 2.
I know on my paladin I upgraded my barracks to 3, and that was disappointing. The whole reason I did it is so I could change the guards at my garrison. And then I remembered, oh yeah, I don't have like Silver Moon Exalted, and you can only do it with races that you're exalted with. So now my Blood Elf Paladin has undead walking around instead of orcs. But I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of a change. I knew better. I knew better, but I was kind of hoping there would be more aesthetic change. But no, you get a couple of the like in my case the Undercity. You get a couple of the Undercity banners hanging like on your primary building there, and then there's just the guards are undead instead of orcs.
It doesn't have that. I mean, it's still fun in a way for me, but it doesn't have that. Oh, you got to see this because this is really unique compared to everybody else's.
Oh, exactly.
It's really stock.
Which it's one of those things because they stopped talking about it. A lot of us forgot about it, myself included, until it just dawned on me. Wait a minute, and I looked back and said, no, they did say this. What happened to their promise of us getting to choose what zone our garrison's in?
Yeah.
They specifically said we'd be able to do that.
I don't remember that, really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
When they first made the announcement that garrisons were going to be a thing, they're like, you choose the zone. I didn't choose Frostfire. Not to say I wouldn't have, mind you, because
like the template, basically, of
being North Dakota, Blood and Born, or Born in Blood, whatever, words, born and raised, I'm used to Frozen Wasteland. It feels like home to me. So I might have stayed with Frostfire. But it would be nice on like one of my other characters, like Jorgenkammer, my rogue. It would be nice to have Shadow Moon Valley. Everything's dark there. It feels more right for a rogue. Or just, I mean, I'm not like super RP in the wowingness, but I have
a character on Moonguard. You have a character on Moonguard, don't you?
I might actually. I think I made one to check out Pornshire. My mind likes going to the dark places. But no, like I am an avid role player outside of video games. I play Dungeons and Dragons and all that. So when I make a character in a game, even well, any role-playing game, even an MMO, where I'm not going to be role-playing in an MMO because it never goes well. Even if you're with a group of people who are skilled at role-playing and know what they're doing and aren't just going to go, her, my character does this, and it makes zero sense with the context, but it's my character. But every person's most likely going to be at a different stage of progression, so whose progression are you going with? Because if this guy killed Gaedien, but the rest of them didn't, so kill Gaedien shouldn't be dead to them. It doesn't work in MMO. But I still come up with like characterizations of my toons. Like, this is the way this person is, and I'm going to play according to what my mind says this person is. Which is why JoeKat likes to murder everybody, and my hunter likes to just, kill things that need to be killed to save people, and my paladin doesn't know what he is, so he just hits random things and hopes he finds an answer, because I'm not into the paladin anymore.
I heard they do a ton of damage. Red.
I can't figure out how to do it. Because when I respect my off-spec to Ret, because it was originally holy, I went into I can't even get silver in the proving ground, so I can't do heroics with them. Because I just can't get the damage output. I fail miserably.
Yeah, I thought that portion was interesting. Like, I think I heard about it, but never really put much thought into it. But there's a lot of people that just could not get silver. I had people, hitting me on BattleNet, saying how much the game sucks because they can't do heroics with their friends.
Here's the part that confuses me: is I'm okay with them gating access to heroics, to being something more than just herp. You got a good enough gear score, have at it. But the gating that they have now doesn't make sense, at least not with how it currently functions. Because with that Proving Grounds, first of all, it was stressful for me. Like, when I did it with the Rogue, I did it with relative ease. Like, in between waves, I had anywhere from 15 to 20 seconds between every wave because I just smoked everything that fast. But the moment you add a timer like that, I stress the fuck out. I do not like having a timer. It adds anxiety that should not be there. And so I was just like spamming, just like, oh god, I gotta do this. When I had no reason to be freaking out like that, but just an arbitrary timer like that just clicks something in my brain, so I freak out. But then think back to like Burning Crusade. We had gating for heroics there too. It was you had to have high enough reputation with the faction that represented that particular dungeon to be able to buy the key to get into the heroics. So it required that you played enough of the game that you should have a good enough idea of what you're doing to be able to handle this without it just being here's an arbitrary test. Now, the arbitrary test in this case is particularly screwy because think about classes like Warlocks. If you're a Demonology or Affliction spec, your damage over time isn't going to be bad. Well, it kind of sucks at the start of this X pack. Warlocks got hit with a hammer again, like they do at the start of every expansion. But Demonology and Affliction, they can do decent damage, but it's slow to build up. That 30 seconds or whatever for each wave isn't necessarily going to be enough if you're not instantly on the ball. So, but then you stack it with like the rogues, like JoeKat. I was just fan of knives. I was smashing everything hard because rogues are good at the burst damage, whereas warlocks are steady over time.
Most of the people I heard from were really warlocks for the most part. So they're trying to do their stuff. So
that sort of test to prove yourself doesn't really work for that class model. So like I say, I can certainly appreciate the concept of the content being gated, especially since they've opened it up to just super easy pugging. So you have some relative level of assurance that you're not just going to be thrown in with a bunch of scrubs who can't handle a heroic. But there's got to be a better way of ensuring that not just, here's a time trial, go, 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 go.
Yeah, I suppose they could have scaled it. Like, if you got bronze, you get a much easier version, but crappier gear or something like that. But don't just, stop everyone from being able to Well, I don't know.
And like I said, I will stand by my rationalization that they should have gone with like the Burning Crusade version, but that would have entailed them actually adding factions, which there's not a whole lot of in Draenor. There's the Laughing Skull, but you don't have access to them unless you build the trading post. The
Really?
the Frost Wolf.
Out at their main area with the satellite garrison. Is what you're saying?
No, if you build the trading post in your garrison, that unlocks their quartermaster. So I guess technically, I think you might be able to get rep with them without the trading post, but it's useless to you if you don't have the trading post, because that's where their quartermaster is if you get the level 2 trading post. But so there's them, the Frostwolf, then there's the I'm forgetting their name, but the Arakoa, the Birdmen. Other than that, I don't think there are any factions that you gain rep with. And even those, like the Frostwolf, of course, you get XP, or not XP, but rep with them through quests, because you're working with them through the majority of the Horde side storyline. But like the Laughing Skull, about the only way to get rep with them is by grinding mobs in 2 specific locations. And it's 5 rep per kill.
It's a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm willing,
unless you've got one of those
get a group together with like a tank, a healer, and then however many DPSers wanted to come with, so you could just gather everything up and smoke it. Then you could probably get it pretty quick. But if you're going it solo, yeah, have fun with that.
I think the best time to do something like that is when the Dark Moon Fair's on. Go out to the Dark Moon Fair, do a couple of the games, get a hat that increases your reputation by 10%.
Isn't it how much?
10%.
Yeah. See, so
it lasts for an hour
instead of 5.
And then you can ride. You got a little merry-go-round you can ride, and that increases your rep again, rep and experience for another 10% for an hour.
So then you're sitting at 8 instead of 5. It's not going to help much.
Nickel and dime.
But even I don't know. Overall, though, it's been underwhelming. It's not to say I need to preface. Well, I guess it's too late to preface anything because I've already been ranting. But I am still able to enjoy the game. I mean, I'm still playing it every day. But there's a lot of things that they made sound would be a lot better than they actually are. And I'm willing to look at like garrisons. Okay, they're underwhelming. Maybe they'll add a bit more. But I'm kind of, a part of my brain is hoping that this is their trial run at player housing. A thing people have wanted since vanilla. So maybe now the text there, they're kind of experimenting with how it could work. But it's dangerous, like, granted, it's got to be a pain in the ass. Well, I mean, the bank you can build relatively easily in your garrison. But in the trading post, which I have the trading post on my Paladin, because I was hoping it would be a little bit better method of resource gathering, garrison resources, instead of having the lumber mill where I have to run out and find trees and hope to God somebody doesn't beat me to it before I can, click on it to chop it down. I don't know if it was available at level 1 trading post or if it didn't show up until level 2. I've had level 2 for a while. But there's a quest there, which involves getting random items. Like, you can't even take... The quest is, you have to have all the items before you can accept the quest. And then accepting the quest animates an auctioneer. A robotic auctioneer. So, thankfully, that's kind of got a barrier to entry there, and not everybody's going to have the trading post, because really, I found out it's not all that particularly worthwhile. But if you could imagine, like, a player housing with... You got the bank, and then you had an auction house... Imagine how barren Orgrimmar's going to be.
Yeah.
It'll just be a ghost town. Because everybody has their house to go to that's completely personalized for them. But, again, like I say, hopefully, in my mind, I want to remain optimistic that maybe this is just a trial run. Learn from experience in a situation that as soon as this expansion's done, nobody's really going to be using their garrison anymore, except for as they're leveling in alt through that content.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to see, and I still am hoping to see us. I don't know. I want to say Barbie girl stuff. I would like to do things with my garrison, like, okay, I'm going to go out and knock down these types of trees, gather this type of fur, etc., build a bench. And then suddenly I can place that bench wherever I want to. I get like a little tool that allows me to 3D turn it around, flip it upside down, do whatever I want with it. I like doing stuff like that, and I'm hoping that they add something like that for like just paintings and benches and beds.
I don't think they will, if only because there's two options in how they could do something like that. One being having it on their side, which that's a shit ton of server space used up for something that one person is going to see. The inverse is they could have it, the coding for it held client side, but then it's easily hackable.
Well, they could. I guess the garrisons really are on their separate servers, anyways. Never mind.
And he just went silent again.
What?
Who did?
Okay. He just trailed off, so maybe it was just on my side. Okay.
My stupid $250 mic.
But, so, I mean, there's that. Yeah, I don't know how much more I could say that I haven't already said about garrisons. Oh, well, there is. I am rather irritated. I kind of get it. But I'm irritated that I can't choose the architecture. That it has to be the crummy, orcish style architecture, which is not appeling to look at at all.
Well,
I have an
alliance
alliance
if you're not
here.
playing an orc. I mean, if you're
it's like
that's
what they say.
It can fit a mindset. It doesn't necessarily have to be specifically Orcan. There are arguments that could be made in rationalization for why it's built that way. Like, you show up, you chop down some trees, boom, you got a fort. I mean, you can't do anything fancy. But then we see, if you progress through the storyline, Khadgar. Okay, yes, Khadgar is an ungodly powerful mage, but he managed to just build himself a fancy-ass tower in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. What? So, I mean, part of me hopes, and I'm not going to get my hopes up too high, because I know better, but I kind of hope somewhere down the road they add a means to change the architecture. Like, even if it costs us certain resources, like the stone that you get out of the mines, the only purpose that shit serves right now is the work orders at the mine to get it turned into ore.
Right.
But my work order list has been full and maintained full for a week and a half, 2 weeks now, and I'm accruing more stone than I can spend on work orders to get more ore, especially since I don't even know why I'm doing it, because the ore is pretty much useless to me now. Mm-hmm. So hopefully maybe somewhere down the road they'll say, hey, I noticed you got all this shit ton of extra stone. Would you like us to use it to make stone buildings instead of this rickety wooden shack? Maybe you'd like some night elf, or not night elf, Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, he's a closet night elf hugger.
But, hey, we've got some, Cinderai lying around doing nothing. How about they enchant you a floating tower out of all this stuff?
Exactly. That's what I meant. I meant to say blood elf architecture. Got night elves on the brain, just picturing them die. Have a ton of stone.
Why don't we take this stone and go ahead and smash some night elves with for a while? That could be your architecture, just, purple smears over stone.
Why can't I have, like, bloody stones in my architecture with heads between them or something like that?
Well, and think about it like this along these
mortar.
Lines too.
That's another thing night elves are good for. Mortar.
We're accruing all this extra stone. What's the other definitively distinct architecture form in the Horde? Undead. With the Lovecraftian, almost just dark Victorian architecture that's all stone and has, like, lightning spires. Why can't I have those? The closest I have is on my Druid, who's an alchemist, so I hopped in, got him far enough to build a garrison, and then build his first profession building, which the alchemist tower. The alchemy, or not tower, but hut. The alchemy hut, which is the same design as all the other huts, except for instead of the red horde cloth lazily thrown on the roof, it's purple, and it's staffed by undead. And there's kind of mossy stone floor as opposed to a wood floor. So, I mean, give me more of that. Let me have an actual undead house.
Well, and since you're chopping down lumber and stuff anyway, I personally like the Tauren aesthetic. Have some, Tauren buildings out there. They're easy to do. Throw up a couple totem poles, some wigwams, hollow out some tree towers. Pretty easy to do, and it would fit the aesthetic of the Frostfire area, I think, more so than some of the orc buildings. I may be alone in that opinion.
Are you trying to say that Tauren are Indians?
Are you trying to say they're not?
Ow.
But yeah, I mean, that's a big complaint of mine.
Makes you think of Mike Tyson's Punch Out now.
Okay.
Anyways,
the connection.
Racist stereotypes. I'm sorry. Moving on.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, garrisons. Rabble, rabble, rabble.
Rabble, rabble, indeed.
The other big thing, the legendary item of this expansion. Stupid as balls. There is nothing legendary about a metal band worn on a finger. I'm sorry. There is nothing legendary about a goddamn ring. Weapons are legendary. Armor is legendary. A wedding band is not legendary.
Yeah, things that you can.
Well, you're obviously just not a fan of J.R. Tolkien.
You're goddamn right I'm not.
But maybe if they allowed the ring to show on the finger, and you can actually see.
Right.
Even then, that's such a tiny. It would be, given the size of your avatar, it'd be this.
They wouldn't make it tiny. Have you seen the orc shoulder pads?
Granted, but
shoulder, because you're not going to know where the shoulder pads go.
The ring.
Yeah, I mean, like those lollipop rings,
Ring pop.
Let's look at the history of legendary items in the game, though. I mean, we had. How am I forgetting the name of it? Even Thunder Fury. Big badass sword with lightning crackling. You had whatever the hell Ragnaros' mace is called. ATS.
Mace of Ragnaros.
Yeah. ATS, the staff. And all these weapons that looked incredibly badass. I'm forgetting what the rogue daggers were called. I never actually saw those. But there's the daggers designed for rogues that were legendary. And we have weapons, and then Pandaland.
Warglaives?
Warglaives. No, there was actually a rogue-specific quest, though, that got you... Here, I'll see if I can find what they were called.
Huh.
But yeah, even with Pandaland, the cape, I was like, your legendary cape? What are you, Superman? And Clark Kent when you turn it off? And it's like, it was a stretch, but at least, the wing thing was kind of cool. I'd imagine it'd get really irritating to look at after having it for a while. I didn't have the pleasure of finding it. Fangs of the Father, that's what it was called. The daggers for rogues. Golad, Twilight of the Aspects, and Tyriosh, Nightmare of Ages. Some pretty dope-looking daggers that were for level 85. So it'd be Cataclysm.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that'd be why I didn't get to see those since I was gone for so much of Cataclysm. But yeah, now we're at a ring. I'm sorry, okay, yes, I lied. I am a fan of Tolkien, but this is a video game. I want something awesome to look at.
You want something that you can see. Something that, you can... I don't want to say bragging
Show
rights,
off.
but...
Yeah.
No, it is breaking rights. Which, Pandaland and now this is removing any bragging rights from having a legendary. In Pandaland, it was required for you to have a legendary to get into a lot of raids. If you didn't have it, you're not welcome. That's not fucking legendary if everybody has it. That's run-of-the-mill, not the stuff of legends. Unless you're telling me we have 10 million legends in the world. You know...
You had to have the legendary to get into raids?
But that's
a lot of raid groups would say if you don't have the legendary cape, you are not welcome amongst us.
Really? Oh.
And it's not something you could hide because it kept on going, hey, look, I have fucking wings. You know?
Well, and that's the thing, is, with the cape, with the ring, it's something everyone can have and everyone can use and everyone can equip. It's creating the mindset, and I don't really think it's a healthy mindset, of everyone is special, everyone's a legend, everyone's an epic hero,
you show up, you're going to get a reward. Yeah. That's how they treat kids these days. You show up to a competition, you're going to get an award. Instead of, actually working for something and having something to show for your hard work and efforts.
I suck at this game. I know I suck at this game. I don't want any special candy for sucking at this game. I just want to play the game at my own leisure and pace and suck at the game. And if I want to get better, I'll ask one of my friends to help me. I don't need a participation trophy.
Yeah, that's...
This is where you put a little participation trophy up at the...
It's sketched out. It's sketched out.
Ding, and it's got a little flash on it.
Second place is the first loser.
Yeah.
That's the lesson I'll teach my kids. You want to be special? Be fucking special. Don't expect me to just hand it to you.
It's
probably for the best that I probably won't ever have kids.
Ever since we started watching the Olympics in the 80s, it was always like, they got bronze. They made it that far. That's how much time and effort they put into it. You get silver, they almost won.
Mm.
Geez, half a second. Are you kidding me? Not like... It's like you get scorned for getting silver and praised for getting bronze.
It's like being a middle child.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody ignores you.
As the middle child of 5, I can tell you, this is how the world works. But, it's... I don't know. Having, first, second, third place, that's fine. Just as long as you realize that there's also 20 other people competing who didn't get any of that shit. So,
Yeah. If we're looking in the competition, gold, silver, bronze, I'd say kudos to all 3 of them. And and all the rest of the losers. But in the context of the video game, now, everybody's special. Everybody gets their fancy medal. And now it's not even a fancy medal. It's something that if you open your character pane, you'll see an orange box around one of your... Where we get it? You have a ring on.
Well, no,
I was
illustrating
your point.
Uh-huh.
That anyone can do it.
Yeah, it's just... I don't know.
Did you get the...
Did you just have a stroke?
I swear to God, I just heard a corgi barking.
Do you have your game logged in?
I do.
And that's probably why you heard a corgi.
I know, but it was just I literally... Okay, maybe I was too harsh on this headset. Anyways,
Although, I do like the fire corgi we all got. It's cute.
Yeah, my wife loves it when it wipes its butt on the floor.
I suddenly don't love it
added
anymore.
it to my pet journal and deleted all the rest of them. Because I have a lot of characters and you can only have one of the fire corgis. So I'm just like, oh good, male I don't want on every character that I log into. Because I can't use it, I have to delete it. So yeah, legendaries are no longer legendary.
Oh, the ring. I'm like, what the hell is it talking about? The ring. Did you guys get the 640 Epic ring?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, it was like it took. Wow. You have to run. I don't remember if you had to run the instance for it. I don't think you did.
You have to run an instance, but it doesn't have to be heroic.
Yeah.
Now, the quests that come afterwards to upgrade it, working on towards turning it into a legendary, have to be heroic. But
Oh,
to get
you
the
have to
640
have that. To
yeah,
do
that ring,
That's
that
true.
640 ring is what will eventually become the legendary ring.
What's the eye level once
Once it's legendary, I don't know, because as of when beta was still out, that chain hadn't been completed. So I'm sure somebody knows what the stats will be, but I'm not that person. Because I just kind of looked at it and I was just like, it didn't feel right to begin with, but then I passed it just kind of off as my same thought on the cape from Pandaland, just being it's the moment everybody can have it, it stops being special. And I have to expressly state, like, I'm coming from a background here where, for the overwhelming majority of the years I've poured into this game, I've been a person who has not been able to get into raids or anything. So all that raid gear, the cool looking tier sets, that was shit I could never get. And that's why it was awesome. Seeing it on other people made me go, hey, that's dope. That looks cool as hell, and you had to work to get it. Now it's just like, nah, log in, here you go. It's all yours. And I have this sneaking suspicion that it stems from all the people complaining, oh, well, I can't hardcore raid. It's not fair that I can't get this shit. Well, yeah, it is fair.
That's what
You were
it's.
given the exact same amount of opportunity from the game as anybody else was. It was your life that prevented you from getting it. If you had other obligations, that sucks. If you want that gear, you can't put the time in, but you had just as much opportunity as everybody else in terms of what the game was providing for you. So don't pull this, I'm paying the same $15 as everybody else. Yeah, of course you are. They're just using it more.
Mm-hmm.
You get what you put into it. It's you don't get rewards just because you're given $15. That $15 maintains the server so you can play the damn game.
I don't know. I don't get epic items from my wife, no matter how much time I put into her.
Well, I seem to
just-
recall you have a son.
That's
So if you're saying your son's not very epic, then you're a shitty dad.
Oh man.
well, you just need to run some heroics with him to upgrade.
I was playing Diablo 3 with him 2 days ago. He's 3 years old, and he can control the character. He was playing
And
the.
you're saying your kid isn't epic? You have
was playing the
your
Demon
standards
Hunter.
are too high.
Every day he comes home from when I come home, or if I'm here and he comes home, or I come home, he's home. He's like, "Can we play Destiny?" And like we played Destiny once, like 2 months ago, and then she said we couldn't play it again. But every day he asks to play Destiny.
Yeah, okay, now he seems less epic if he likes Destiny.
I think it's just because he got to shoot people, but maybe that's and that's why we stopped playing that game. And I was letting him play DC. What is that DC game? Injustice. But then he started punching people at daycare, so we had to stop playing that one. So I guess really his next round of stuff is probably sacrificial altars and blood sacrifices.
Well, that's normal for childhood.
That says we're playing Diablo 3, you know.
I've been doing that since I was 2.
Ah.
Blood for the blood gods. You have to do it, otherwise
Did
the
you
sun
did
won't
you
come
just
back
do a
up.
sign? Did you just do a sign? I swear you just did a sign there.
I raised
What-
my arms to the blood gods.
Oh, there you go.
If I don't do it, the sun won't come up tomorrow. The sacrifice must be made.
War Song Clan.
So the demon ball in the sky that burns my skin is your fault.
No, it's your fault for not being under it more often to gain immunity.
Oh, that's Archimon in the Burning Crusade. It was really his fault.
No, he got killed by wisps. Fuck that guy.
Talk about Pansy.
Oh my god, all these tree-collected hippie ghosts are flying around me. Explode! I guess I might explode too if I was being accosted by hippie ghosts. So yeah, okay, so what's next?
Well,
What haven't I berated yet?
Hmm.
I haven't really had a whole lot of time or inclination, really, to screw around in the X-Pack a bunch.
I think the latter of those is more true than the former.
What about the
I
rares?
suspect. Inclination, more
Yeah.
so than time.
Yeah.
What about all the rares in the?
Yeah, rares aren't so rare anymore, are they?
Yeah,
I can't walk 5
confused
fucking
me.
feet without tripping over a rare spawn.
My first run through, that's like I say, like I've done another run through because I only have level 91 characters. But as my hunter, every single rare I killed, I literally got nothing that I could use for my character.
Yeah.
And I was thinking it was all random.
No.
But no, there's specific drops. So now I know that for when I go hunting for them. But everything I killed up through level 100, I got maybe 2 items that my hunter could use, and it was pretty much I'd already outgrown it by the time I got it. Everything else was like caster based. A lot of caster stuff out there. So I thought that was kind of frustrating to get through so many drops and rares and not get anything worthwhile.
Yeah.
But it'll be awesome on my caster characters as I level them. I mean, I can now go to where I want to go and actually get some cool stuff and, you know, enjoy those rares a little bit more. But yeah, they're like everywhere. So
yeah, it gets a little ridiculous. Like I think the worst I saw was when I was just running from one quest hub to the next. Just pretty much straight lining it. I don't remember. I want to say it might have been Spires of Iraq, or however you pronounce that. Sounds weird, like I'm saying Spires of Iraq. Going after Saddam Hussein. But I think, yeah, just straight lining it from one quest hub to the next, I stumbled across 5 rare spawns. Like, you don't seem rare or all that interesting anymore. It's just another fight that's going to be a little bit harder to kill than a standard mob, and I might get something useful off of it.
Yeah, they're definitely not as hard as an elite.
No,
like the rares that you
close.
used to find, but yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what angle they were taking with that. I think there could have definitely been a better method of making interesting mobs out in the world instead of just hoping that a silver dragon around his nameplate and slightly increased HP would make an interesting encounter, because it doesn't. Blizzard baby, I know you're not watching, but listen to me. It's not interesting. They just take more time.
Should have called them champions or something instead of like elite rares.
Or cut down on the numbers of them, but make them actually interesting or engaging, or, you know, have them actually relate to the zone they're in, have them contribute something to the aesthetic of the zone, as opposed to just like, hey, I'm a slightly bigger version of the mobs that are over there. Woo-boo-woo-boo-woo. I'm gonna drop a toy when I die, but you can only have one, so every time you kill me with other characters, you're just gonna have to delete it because you can't vendor toys.
That's true, yeah. A lot of wasted toys.
I've deleted 5 stolen breaths.
Or at least make them so we can sell them on the auction house.
Well, even that's pointless. Everybody's going to trip across that enemy sooner or later.
There's going to be some people who are just not going to go out and do it. You know,
or they're just going to sit exclusively in their garrison. You can level up to 100 never leaving your garrison.
No way. What?
It'd be slow as hell, but there are follower missions that reward you XP.
Yeah.
You can bet that the guy who leveled his panda to 90 in the starting zone probably is attempting that. Some character. I heard he was going to try to get to level 100, though, in the starting zone.
What a nerd.
I did like, thought it was kind of interesting, cool how the items that you picked up from quests or from the rares had a chance to upgrade to epics or, blue rarity. Blue rarity and epics for quests or just epics for the fleets that you killed. That was sometimes kind of nice to see. Oh my god, I got an epic, but most of the time it happened after I kind of out-leveled of the weapon or item. But who knows? I seem to see it more with my second character, my priest now. I don't know if that's just coincidence. I'm guessing it is.
Yeah, I think it's just a random chance. I think it might even follow the same percentage meter as just standard quest items, because I know I built the War Mill with Jorgenkammer, because level 1 of War Mill doubles your chances of getting a random upgrade to quest rewards.
Really?
And I did notice I seemed to, at least, I shouldn't specifically say, but to my perception, it seemed like I got more upgrades to the rare mob kill items as well.
They say the main vendor in that building isn't called Grifter, is it?
Grifter.
Remember Grifter, the vendor who would sell stuff that doesn't actually do anything, but it would...
Oh, no, he's actually... I have an item that summons him.
Really?
No joke. It's an epic whistle that you get by pickpocketing as a rogue, and he gives you a weekly quest. Now, pickpocketing has become almost worthless compared to like previous... Well, I guess I shouldn't say previous expansions, because really the last one I engaged heavily with was Burning Crusade, which was a long time ago. But I remember the elation I felt way back when I was leveling Jorgenkammer up back in Burning Crusade, when I was going through Stone Talon Mountains, or not Stone Talon, is it whatever the spiky mountains are, what are now Frostfire in Draenor.
Whitespire?
Yeah, whatever it was. And I was pickpocketing all the mobs. I had a macro set up, so I would automatically, like as soon as I clicked pickpocket, it would auto loot instead, without me having to have auto loot turned on. And then would immediately jump into ambush, so I could just pickpocket and then murder. And I pickpocketed an epic throwing knife. And I was like, oh my god, it's so cool, I got an epic. Because, back then, like I said, I had pretty much no access to raids, except for on the rare occurrence when Synergy was going and somebody wasn't able to make it and you needed a quick fill-in. It was like, yeah, we can bring Ansil, he's random. But, so there was a point to pickpocketing back then. Now it's just, you get some pocket change. I haven't even seen a lockbox yet, so I don't know if they still exist or not.
I have found one lockbox.
But now what you'll get is all this random bullshit jewelry that will fill up your inventory, because it's all different types of rings, toe rings, family heirlooms, ranging from gray quality to purple quality, that you can summon Grifter with the whistle and trade to him for dingy iron coins. And then the weekly quest is to have 1,000 dingy iron coins, and he'll give you 250 gold.
Wow, that seems like a lot of...
It's a lot of pickpocketing.
Yeah. I kind of forgot that there was pickpocketing. Can you use that in PvP?
No. It'll say that thing does not have pockets to pick.
Yep. Players
just
don't
like
have
most
pockets.
of the enemies do. There are very select enemies that actually have pockets for you to pick. Apparently, the Iron Horde is primarily populated with peasants who can't afford the extra fabric to have pockets sewn into their clothing. Because a lot of them ain't got pockets. There are ogres with more pockets than these orcs have.
The only pockets they're using are the ones they get when they're back in prison. Where was I going with that?
I don't know.
Don't.
Wow, that just like it's like a train just like whoa, it went.
Prison pockets? Is that what?
Is that like a hot pocket?
Yeah,
like an armpit or that pit like behind your leg, kneecap pit, or whatever it is called.
Yeah, if you keep your leg perpetually bent, I guess you could store something there.
Anyways,
So yeah, that's my rant. Primarily, I think I've touched all the subjects that I was irritated with, and I do need to restate that I do still have fun with the game, just not as much as I would have hoped for. A little irritated that Tanan isn't even a thing yet at all.
I haven't even tried going over there. That kind of sucks.
There's nothing.
I'm hoping you'd be able to do more.
You can't go there yet. Tanan just doesn't exist yet, other than when you first come through the portal and you go through the starting quest chain. Other than that, Tanan just doesn't exist yet.
You can't get back to it either because you took a boat away from it.
Yep. So it's basically wait for the next content patch so we can pretend to have filler because we don't really have anything to put in this game yet.
What happens if you go through the portal again after finishing?
It takes you to Ashran.
Oh, crap. Wow.
So, yeah, it's...
Do you know that you have a portal in your garrison?
Yep.
I didn't know that until yesterday.
I think it has to be level 3 garrison, but yeah.
It has to be level 3.
Yep. See, I noticed it almost right away because every time I expanded my garrison, I ran around to see where everything was because they'd, like, move my vendors and stuff. And then just to see what all was there. And I was like, I have a guard tower. I'm going to see what my viewpoint is from this guard tower. Oh, there's a portal. Okay.
You poop?
Of course. I needed my achievement. It was so hard to get. When I did it with my alliance character, it scared the hell out of me, though. Because I sat down and there was a ghost in there.
What?
My alliance character has 3 ghosts walking around the garrison, which is now nothing compared to my horde character, I suppose, where I have 5 or 6 ghosts just walking around in my garrison. The 3 shadow hunters from the Nagrand quest chain, where you find their dead bodies and you do the voodoo to release their spirits. They hang out there. And there's the Draenei guy, who you find his dead body, and he's all like, I can't rest until the guy who killed me and my family is dead. Well, I killed that guy, and apparently he still can't rest because he became a follower and does shit for me.
Well, he's resting at your garrison.
I guess.
Does he say no rest for the angry dead?
No, but that'd be awesome if he did. Then there's the blacksmith. Well, on my paladin, there's the blacksmithing quest guy to unlock the blacksmithing building. He's dead. He's a ghost. He chills out at my garrison. And I want to say there's another one that I'm forgetting. But yeah, the first ghost I noticed, though, was on my alliance when I went to click on the outhouse, and I sat down, and, like, literally, that brief second that as the animation of your character sitting down goes through, changes the camera so you can briefly see inside the outhouse, there's a fucking ghost standing right there. I'm like, dude, what? Why is there a ghost watching me poo?
Is it Illuminati?
Really bored.
I guess. So yeah, that's... Why is that an achievement?
Yeah, Gunnar shoveling poop in Cannonville.
Yeah.
Was it enough?
Yeah. Oh,
like they even had the sound of it, like, sliding through sludge.
I'll be glad that I had videos playing on YouTube while I was going through that then, so I didn't hear it. Which is why I'm almost never in TeamSpeak. Whenever I'm playing, I'm usually also watching something. But I did notice, too, just outside the Alliance garrison, there's a graveyard. And one of the gravestones you can actually hover over, and it has a name. Ray D. Tier. Raid tier. As if the garrison's existing has cost us a raid tier. Somebody thought that would be a funny joke, I guess.
A raid?
Ongoing joke, apparently, that adding features that weren't raids cost us a raid tier. So now there's...
Oh, I get it now. Like, a developer, wasted his time on this pansy-ass garrison instead of finishing out a sort of raid tier he was working on, and... crafty. I don't understand why charging as a warrior now puts stones around the mob's feet.
Because that would mean you're glyphed for it that causes them to be slowed?
Level 6.
Oh. Then maybe it's just default that slows them?
It must. I mean, I think a charge is supposed to stun, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, rooting it for 1.50 seconds.
Well, there you go. The stones are rooting them in place.
Wouldn't it make sense for a tree to root?
Where the fuck is your warrior gonna get a tree while running at something?
I don't know. The roots in the ground.
Yeah, but it's a warrior, not a druid. It can't
how do you
command
think the
the
stones
roots
came up?
by him smashing them. Because warrior, gur, arg, smash. Not, commune with nature, please, tree, hold this guy in place.
Yeah, I'm just farting around with a dwarf warrior on Agramar, because that's the server the wife plays on.
Fair enough. So, yeah, back to, I think that covers all the things I had to think of. Anybody else got anything?
Well, I was going to talk about what I have been doing, which was playing Deadly Premonition, but it's already pretty close to our end time, and Deadly Premonition is kind of an old game, so I don't think anyone cares.
It's been a while since you've been playing that, hasn't it?
A couple weeks.
Yeah. I looked up some YouTube videos on it. It was pretty interesting.
Mm.
Not really my side of gaming, but definitely had some quirks to it.
I like the game.
Cereal sandwich.
The cereal sandwich is fun. Definitely some interesting things to talk about as far as transgender representation in gaming, but I don't know if we want to get into that this late in the podcast. I can certainly talk about it next time or something.
Sure. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
it's not something I know anything about, so sure.
I've had fun with the expansion for what I've played with it. I haven't really leveled my garrison past 2. I mean, my garrison is 3, but I've really stopped messing with my housing past 2 for the most part. I log in, I gather the resources, I stock them away, and I'm pretty much done with it. I don't think I've sent followers out for a couple days now. But the only reason to send followers out is to level them, but then I don't do anything with them. I suppose
you level them up. Once you get them to level 100, then you have to start increasing their gear. You give them better gear score, and once you get their gear score to 615, then that unlocks other higher tier missions, which can get you gear.
Yeah, because most of the gear you get through it, like...
I got a 630... I level 630 axe on my paladin through one of those missions, which is on par with the axe I made for myself with blacksmithing. So hey, look, professions are even more worthless.
The salvage yard. I have a salvage yard. When I send them out and they come back, I didn't know what to pick because they just do gathering professions, and those actually net me a lot of the high level gear, weapons and whatnot for the followers. So I got a lot of 615 geared followers, but
I have one as of today. I got up to 627, I think. And I got the achievement. My gear is better than yours for having a follower with I score higher than 625 or whatever it was.
Yep, I saw you get that one. What
for
level?
What end, though? Like, why do your followers need better gear?
Same reason we do, to fight bigger things.
There's certain some of the quests that come out basically have like in parents 615, which means you can only send level 100 characters who have 615 gear.
No, that basically becomes the new level. So you can send them out if their items level's lower than that, but it decreases their chances of success.
Gotcha.
It's just like sending a level 96 follower out on a level 98 mission. There's a chance they'll still succeed, but the odds are smaller.
Anybody got any new mounts?
Nope.
Nothing.
I built the stable with my paladin, and I caught 2 of them, but I haven't completed the quest chains to actually have them become mounts for me yet.
I think there's something like 6 of them, maybe 6 or 8 that you can do through that.
I finally completed the Venomhide Raptor quest chain and grow a crater.
Nice. Seriously, a lot of people will give up on that. It takes a long time.
I tried it once, and then I don't remember, for whatever reason, I said, fuck it, I'm not going to do this right now, and then I just forgot about it.
No, I was pretty...
I'm dealing with the wife right now for the Winter Spring Cub. The Winter Spring Cub is basically the same thing. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a Alliance vs. Horde. I don't know if you can actually ride the Winter Spring Saber on Horde characters. I'm guessing.
Probably not. Probably not. It's probably tagged as an Alliance mount.
Same with the Raptor. Is what I'm assuming. So we haven't done the Raptor, but we're messing with the Tiger. So even while she's sick, she's still logging in for 5 minutes to do the daily.
You're a horrible person, Dale.
It's funny because it's like, I want to go to bed, but I'm gonna log in. We're gonna do this daily quest quick, and then we do the daily quest. She's like, you think you want to do a dungeon? And like she's falling over. I'm like, do you want to do a dungeon? I'm like, you can go to bed. Let's do a dungeon. We'll just do one dungeon.
You are a terrible human being for getting her into this addiction. But so, how long before she's on the podcast with us?
I don't know that she'll. I don't think she'll ever go that route. But that would be fun. I actually will have Brelin will be in my house next Saturday. He's gonna come over and we're gonna be doing like some Diablo 3 gaming, some console gaming and stuff. I got enough room he could set up a computer over there. We could play some Warcraft or whatnot. But if we wanted to do that evening podcast instead of Thursday, we would have another person in the vicinity here. I would have to have I've used my Bluetooth, my Blue Yeti 4, and I think it worked out okay. So we could use that. I don't know how we would hear. I got a couple other headsets I could use. I could just hook up to the laptop and we could invite him in, for speakers that way, I suppose. Just not do video on him, just do video on mine. So I'll have to make a Skype account or something. If you guys want to do that,
I'm game.
This 4th person.
Well, next Saturday, I think I have something else going on, but maybe.
Well, that's okay. I mean, if it doesn't work that way, that's fine too. We could always shoot for Thursday again.
Or we could do Saturday afternoon. There's something that we have to do at night, unless that doesn't work for anyone.
Oh, that's true. I don't know when
I don't do anything Saturdays other than maybe, which I can podcast drunk. That's fine.
I think maybe our viewer base might appreciate you podcasting drunk. Maybe we can get some of those people that you've tanked for.
I go from being the best tank that they've had in forever to the best podcast guy they've ever had before. I don't know. That's possible. I do rant a lot when I'm drunk. So it's settled. I'll podcast drunk.
There we go.
Next Saturday? All right, let's do this.
All right. It's
sometime too, Jay. I'm holding you to that. We totally need to record us some hardcore Terraria to see how terrible we are.
Oh yeah,
I think it'll be fun.
I have a friend a couple blocks over who played it. He just went nuts on it. I mean, he like one of those Theorycraft players. Like I log in one day and suddenly he's got like statues in the sky. He's like, "Come up here and press this button." I press this button and suddenly shit's like flying all over the place. The colors are changing. The trees, just water going down in different directions, and then like it's all elaborate. I'm just like, how long did you spend working on this? Oh, 5 minutes. What? What the? Come on, that would take me like days, and then I'd have to actually YouTube and like sketch it out. And
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, see, I really like the game, but I'm not great at it, so putting it in hardcore mode might be interesting, because in hardcore mode, if you make a hardcore character, once it's dead, that's it. Character's deleted.
There's a hardcore mode now? Yep. Good lord, I die a lot.
It's been there for a while. You just make a hardcore character. So it's not like level bound, it's your character bound. And yeah, once that character's dead, just delete.
Sure. Yeah, we'll have to figure something out because I don't know, my time is it's so linear. I don't know. It's kind of annoying because like I don't have the ability to really maneuver and do other things, which is I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to schedule stuff too much to where it's killing me. I don't know.
I kind of get that impression sometimes.
I had a job interview today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
But we probably shouldn't talk about that enough.
Oh, well, then I think with that, I'll turn off the recording and talk about your job interview. So,
Boom.
bye, everyone. Thanks for watching. This is JoeKat.
Ansil.
This is Gaedien. We'll catch you next time.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Pow, pow, pow.